Welcome to Backyard Cigars. And I reviewed this cigar, La Flor Dominicana's Andalusian Bull, a year ago. Around the same time, I bought two cigars back in 2018, and I smoked one in 2020, 2 years aged. Now I'm smoking this one in 2021, which would make it 3 years of aging in the humidor. The first review with that Andalusian Bull did not go so well. You can check it out on my videos if you'd like, but I recall it was not a good review. Now, the first cigar of this kind that I reviewed, I kept at 6566 RH for those 2 years. This one, I didn't really make much of a change. I did have some ideas about aging it. Keeping it at a higher RH, possibly 68 to 70. But ultimately, I decided not to do that. I decided just up it a little bit. So this one's been aged now at 66, 67 RH. I do believe it's hit 68 a couple times, but for the most part, it's been in a humidor where the RH was usually about 67, which is where I like it. It's still a very mild beginning, as I remember it with the first cigar. So just to go down the specs, you have the name of the cigar in homage to Lito Gomez's Spanish roots. 6.5 by 64 Ecuadorian Corojo wrapper, Dominican binder, and Dominican filler. Some of the Dominican tobaccos used, the Pelo de Oro, which is incredibly hard to grow, as well as, I believe, a Criollo 98. Now, one never knows why one cigar of the same kind will perform better than the other, especially when you get them all from the same 5-pack, right? You figure they've all got to taste the same. Well, no, they don't. They don't all have to do anything. They could all fail you, and they could all be great, but they don't have to do anything. There's nothing promised. There are duds in everybody's production line. Now, I'm not going to go as far as to say that the cigar that I smoked last time was a dud, but it could have been. I don't know that for a fact. Maybe I did something wrong. I really analyzed how I kept the cigar and everything leading up to its placement in the humidor, and I just couldn't figure anything out. But I will tell you this, some very good news here. This one's smoking a lot better. Nice, slightly floral aroma. It's got some sweetness and some spice combining. It's mild. Right now it's mild. And it's just working well today. Yeah, I like the sweetness that I'm getting off of it. I tasted a nasty. Sometimes we describe hay when we're describing flavors, and I guess that should be better described, right? Because when I described hay in what I tasted in this cigar in my original review, it was a nasty tasting hay. It was your generic hay that you would roll around on at an amusement park. and that doesn't taste that good. So when I'm describing hay and I'm liking it in other cigars, I should probably say it's how the hay is sort of blending in, not sort of, how it's actually blending in with the sweetness and the spiciness of the cigar, and how it's delivering that hay note as opposed to giving you straight hay, which you don't want. And that's what I got a lot of on the first review of this cigar, was a lot of pretty much earthy tobacco and a lot of hay. And I didn't really enjoy it because you don't want those kind of notes just like that. Not in a cigar. So this one, I initially, when I started smoking it into the first inch, I got a little bit of that hay, but then right after that, it followed with some cedar and sweetness. And then I've got some light spices going with some mild pepper. A lot of cedar. Whoa, I am so relieved. You know, you pay a lot of money for certain cigars and you have high expectations, especially with a cigar like this. Such a unicorn, such an impossible cigar to find, and so many people wanting to try it, even if just once. And of course, winning Cigar of the Year in 2016 did not do us smokers any favors in helping us find this cigar. And then when you do find it, you're not going to get it for $16, $17. People want $30, $40 for it. So with that being said, you plunk down your hard-earned cash on a cigar like this, and all you ask in return is for pleasurable smoke. Lido Gomez and La Flor Dominicana are, well, his cigars are some of my favorite cigars to smoke. I know a lot of you have tried his cigars and love them as well. And I was severely disappointed the first time I did a review on this cigar. I was still glad I had two, because I had this hope that, okay, maybe this one isn't going so well, but the next one will. And I literally waited a whole other year before trying it again. And I probably would have left it there till next year. But I was just itching to try it out again and just see if I could experience any of those things that everyone raved about. And now, and while this cigar isn't wowing me, it is a pleasurable smoke right now. And it is definitely a very, very good cigar. Worth $30? No. 40? No. Worth 16? Yeah, okay. 15, 16. I'd say it's worth that. If you can find it at that price. Maybe if even if they charge you, maybe, I don't know, let's say they charge you $20, you haven't tried it yet, give it a shot. But listen, don't take my advice on that, because there are a lot of people out there that have the funds and they're determined, and who should tell them any different, right? They have the funds, they're determined to try it, and if they find it and someone says, hey, you know, we want $35 for it, they're gonna buy it. That's fine. It's not worth the $35 you're gonna pay for it in terms of the experience. I don't think so, my opinion. But I understand that you want to try it, so you're gonna shell out and give it a shot. Very much like I did to a certain degree. I don't think I paid anywhere near $40 for it, but I'm certain I paid at least $20, $21 for it. and it's mild right now. I feel it picking up slightly, ever so slightly, edging towards a medium. It's got really a consistent flavor profile right now. Everything working well. It's a good cigar. That's the only thing I can say about it right now. So it's holding the ash very well. The burn line has given me no indications that it wants to misbehave. Not in the least bit. I've been smoking it at a certain pace, not to heat it up, even though it is a big ring gauge cigar. It's not 64 straight through. It's not. It's one of those types of pyramid shapes that is unique to, well, Lito Gomez. And it might be 64 at the base, at the foot, but then as you come up, it's probably going to be something like, I don't know, maybe a 56. It'll probably shift from a 58 to a 56 and end up as at a 54, at the very top. But I am glad that it is shaping up to be a different experience. So now for the $64 question. Would I search for this again? Would I buy it if I had the opportunity? And my answer to that would be no, I would not. And I have not been seeking it out. And I would not seek it out. If someone gave it to me, I would gladly put it in the humidor for a few months and smoke it. If someone said to me, hey, the local B&M has them for $15 a stick, well, sure, okay. Maybe I'd buy it in that case. $15, give or take, about MSRP, which is $15, $16. I wouldn't go running over there if I'm in the area. And if I'm planning on going to the cigar lounge, the local cigar lounge, then sure, I'll pick it up. Or if my buddy says, hey, I'll pick up 2 for you if you want. Yeah, sure, I'll cash app you. Sure, not a problem. But I'm not going round and round looking for it. Because now that I've had it, I've realized that, and I've said this a million times, a lot of folks go crazy about certain cigars when they win Cigar of the Year from Cigar Aficionado. When Cigar Aficionado names them Cigar of the Year, they go nuts looking for the cigar. And sometimes, yes, certain cigars within that list, whether they're number 1 or number 25, are very worthy cigars of purchasing and smoking. Absolutely, no doubt about it. But oftentimes, and this isn't just how we feel about who should be number 1 or who should be number 10, but oftentimes what happens to some of these cigars is that they acquire a cult following and they achieve a unicorn status that they probably don't deserve. But because of the success tied into the ratings, we tend to look at it as, okay, I've got to have this cigar. I've got to try this cigar. No, you don't. Not really. I mean, if you want to, no one's stopping you. It's a free world. You can go ahead and do it. You'll have guys like me reviewing it and telling you that it's a decent cigar. And mind you, this is 3 years old. Right? This is 3 years old. I've never had one fresh. So I couldn't tell you what that's like. I probably had a dud at 2 years. So maybe some of you watching the video will say, well, Jose, I had one fresh in 2016, 2017, either in the year or the year after it won the award, and it was amazing. And it might have been, but that's just how it is sometimes. And I also understand. I understand that some of us aren't just cigar smokers. Some of us are cigar collectors. So just maybe overpay a little just to get the stick into your collection, so that you can feel that, okay, I've got another piece of the puzzle here. I've got another unicorn in my collection. That's fine. I respect that. People collect different things for different reasons, and hopefully some of the cigar collectors that we all know or have heard about will eventually smoke some of these cigars and enjoy them as well. Hopefully. Me personally, I'm not a cigar collector. I am a cigar smoker. That doesn't make me superior in any way to a person whose main desire is to acquire cigars and not necessarily smoke them. Not smoke them at all. Just let them sit, right? Just let them age. And some folks will probably do the same thing that other individuals do with whiskey, where you buy 4 bottles. You drink one for yourself, keep one for a special occasion, and you sell 2 on the when the prices go up. And some people do that with cigars as well. So they figure maybe the cigar will increase in value in the long run. And whether or not that cigar's taste is going to even be there 5, 8, 10 years down the line, like some of the expensive Cubans that have gone up for auction, that have actually in many cases tasted very good. But when a lot of cigar experts, and I'm not counting myself as one of them, I'm not, have tried a lot of these aged sticks that people have put up for auction or that they're selling, they have found that they just don't meet the cut. They don't make the cut in terms of a pleasurable smoking experience. They become uber mild. They lose a lot of flavors. And these are experts that are actually guys that have smoked these cigars fresh and that know a lot about them and know what they're supposed to offer. But look, it's the thing about being able to say, I bought a Cohiba from 1948 when Winston Churchill was smoking these, or whatever it is. And to be able to say I have that in my collection, it's fun. It's just fun to be able to look at your collection and say, look at all these neat things that I've got. And I'm all for that, as long as in the long run you can eventually smoke it and enjoy it. Because if you can't, I feel like for me, that's you're robbing yourself of the experience, and or robbing someone else that might have actually been able to purchase it and done what's intended with it, right? Which is just to smoke it and have a good time with it. But look, I'm not attacking cigar collectors at all. I'm not. What we find fun, everyone finds something different in the cigar hobby. Some people like to just buy and smoke, keep 15, 20 cigars at a time, and then re-up. Other people like to just amass these huge 2, 3, 4, 5,000 stick collections. And a lot of those cigars, they will probably never live long enough to smoke all of them. And some of them will probably be sold, either when they, God forbid, pass away, or when they feel the need to sell some off. I'm always constantly trying to shrink my collection because I feel like I may have too many, and I have nowhere near what some of these guys on YouTube have, and I don't envy them one bit. This is, the more you have, the more maintenance you have to put into it, and the more you have to be constantly watching to see certain cigars can't go past a certain amount of years, or they may lose certain flavors and so forth. Listen, folks, I had to take a break and just pour some cold water. It's 90 degrees out here today, 65-70% humidity. It's hot. And the last time I smoked this cigar, it was also a hot day. As a matter of fact, I recall that the humidity on that day might have been about 80, because I remember it being such a humid day. And you know why why I at least did not forget it, was because when you're smoking a big cigar, on a hot day, I mean, this cigar can burn an hour and a half, maybe even two, depending on how you're pacing it. And you just don't forget that, man, perhaps it's best suited for a nice indoor, well-conditioned temperature. But nonetheless, I'm making the best of it. I cool down. I'm good to go. I'm going to leave you guys, but before I leave you, I'm just going to let you know that the cigar does pick up in strength, in body, flavor, everything. At this point, it is a true medium, and it's puffing well, giving me all of those flavors that I talked about earlier. And it's good. It's really, really good. It's a very good cigar. I wouldn't go as far as to say it is a great cigar, but it is a good cigar. And I just want to thank you all for watching. Until next time on Backyard Cigars.